BBQ get to start off on the blue side, which has had 100% victory in this series. Wow.
Wow. Oh boy. Yeah, it's true. Definitely is the OP side. When you think about League of Legends nowadays, or pretty much any time in League of Legends.
It's always been around the 54-46 split in percentages. Yeah, only at the time where the meta was had such a little amount of champions available was red side ever favorable, where you could definitely say this pick counters this. I will beat you with the last pick, as I can counter so hard that everything else ceases to matter. Whereas now we have Kalista and Rakan mattering a whole lot, and even more than that is Caitlyn and Zac, and also Elise, which I think that Afreeca do not want to fall at the hands of Bless's Elise like they did in the first game, and will most likely ban it out here.
The LeBlanc ban for the third ban here, so BBQ deciding to target that pick this time around. Don't want to hand that over to Kuro. And yeah, the Elise ban, of course, I think we could have seen this from about, maybe 6-7 minutes into game one that this was going to happen.
But the LeBlanc ban was targeted to both teams. Both teams have been banning out LeBlanc previously, so it looks more like a red side pick that you don't want to deal with, that you can take away early. You can take it in your last pick of your first set of bans, and instead they go with the Taliyah because they already know that Afreeca has shown their hand. They love the Xayah, they're going to go for it again, but this time they don't have Rakan. So it'll have to be a different support that they plan on pairing up with Kramer, but it is going to be the same jungler that Mowgli debuted with, that Rex side.
Yeah, pretty cool to see him pick that up. Obviously one of the better junglers now that Elise is off the table, and crazy thinking about a Jace once again. Worked out for him in game number one. Obviously had a lot of help from the Elise, but at least he has the Taliyah after level 6 if they want to go for something crazy. And I will not get excited for this.
Don't even acknowledge it.
I'm done.
It's Braum. There it is. It's Braum, it's Taliyah, it's a Jace, and now it's a composition that can actually help the side lanes like crazy. You've got the Jace that already does so much damage. We saw how far ahead he got of Jarvan in that game one. Now that you have Taliyah, an actual assistant mid laner that can always come to your lane and help you out, so much of this is going to be focusing Marin, and it's up to the jungler pick that Bless goes for to dictate how early that pressure is going to come out.
Kramer, Tushin, Marin, Spirit,
and Kuro. Do you not see the look of the Kuro?
What is the Ot?
Kuro's across all of them.
Why is Spirit Ot?
You just have to find a way for Kuro to fit in there. It's teamwork. It's the sacrifice that he made.
Maybe it's like Spirit OT?
No, Spirit sacrificed his name so that Kuro could fit. You didn't see the Kuro?
Oh, I saw the Kuro. I saw the Kuro. I don't get the end of Spirit's name. That didn't make any sense to me. Someone out there probably got it.
But you know what makes sense? The bans. The Twitch, the Gragas. You get rid of the Gragas. Make sure that you don't have a big AoE ganking jungler, that big frontline that would guarantee BBQ having a strong late game. And now they're thinking about, well, you've got Lee Sin available. You've got even Sejuani if you want to go for it. Although, warning, you don't ever want to play Sejuani into Xayah or Alistar, as they can dodge out of your abilities so easily. And even Rex, I can tunnel out of that one. So I don't expect that jungler, and I hope not to see it here, as it would be so difficult to execute. And we'll probably just see a Lee Sin instead.
Yeah, definitely a big option here for Bless. I think we see it out of him from time to time. It doesn't pop out in my mind as one of his big flashy picks, like he's any spectacular Lee Sin, but there's not too many options. As the Gragas was taken away, and ooh, okay, that is an option. Italy coming on in, and that time it's not a hover, so Bless is gonna show us his Nidalee.
And that means that this composition is 100% execution reliant. Nidalee needs to be on point. So he's going to need to have a fantastic game for this to work, because they also don't have a lot of team fighting potential. It's only really Braum that can get the party started, and there's not instant crowd control that's going to be anything that Afreeca has to truly worry about. You've got a poke composition, but then you're going to be up against Alistar, whose AoE heals in the late game will easily mitigate all of it, and in the mid and early, he can also block so much of the poke that comes out of BBQ. So BBQ needs to be accelerating this game like crazy. They need to win in under 30 minutes, otherwise Afreeca is going to roll over them.
This is going to be a fun one. I haven't gotten to commentate a Nidalee just yet, so really excited for this. And Bless, I mean, he doesn't pop out as one of the big junglers of LCK, and having him go on this incredibly mechanically intensive champion in the Nidalee is very interesting. Shows a lot of confidence in their jungler on the side of BBQ.
But I want to say, to me, it's too much confidence. They got the Jace early, and they're thinking, great, we got what we came here for, but they wanted to deny the Braum pick, that they lost out on the potential jungler that would have ensured them to have a smoother transition into the mid and late game. With the Gragas being removed so intelligently from Afreeca, they're now having either the Lee or the Nidalee, or maybe a Kha'Zix or something worse, but no matter what, it's not the optimal pick to hit a mid or late game.
Yeah, it's not Cuz, it's not Longju, so no Kha'Zix. It's basically his champion at this point. Don't really see it too many times on other teams.
Well, remember that Nidalee here doesn't have any setup. Who's gonna keep anybody stunned for spears to hit?
He's gonna use homing spears.
Hey, it's as somebody said, if you can't dodge Nidalee spears, you don't have a mouse. I think that's a word of Sven. Only somebody that doesn't have a mouse cannot dodge Nidalee spears. And on 8 ping, 4 ping here, it's kind of true.
Maybe point blank spears would have to be the way he does it, but not the best kinds of spears. Guys, we will have a short delay as a pause has come up and all the referees are running into the Afreeca booth. So we'll see what the issue is in just a minute. Get you guys updated.
If only paramedics would respond as quickly as we do to keyboard issues here.
They're right on top of that. Who knows? Maybe someone needs a new chair. We got to get in there, man. It's really important. So, again, Marin says that this skin issue is here. The incorrect skin has showed up in the game. Not sure how that's possible. I would love to click on him and see if he has the right runes.
Well, skin's not as bad as the runes, but we get that it's necessary. You gotta have the right skin. If you want to be Rumble in the jungle, but you end up being Super Galaxy, you can be severely annoyed by having to hear those grunting sounds over and over. So anybody that can be subjected to an hour of that already gains some respect in my book, or maybe insanity, but at least Marin definitely does not want that on his team.
It's definitely annoying, but I just hope this really is just a skin issue.
It starts as a skin, then it gets to be a rash, and all of a sudden you got to go to the doctor because your entire arm's lost.
Starts as a skin. Yes.
No, it starts in the skin.
Ah, I see. Crazy. He's like, I don't care what skin I use. I just want to go to bed. He looked tired coming into today, actually.
Maybe that's his zone. Did you know yawns are actually contagious?
Yawns are contagious, and they actually also calm you down. So if he's, I don't think he's actually nervous. Crazy's been around for a bit, but definitely helps to keep you more in the zone.
Yawning keeps you in the zone?
Just keeps you calm and less nervous. It's like convincing your body that and your brain that you're in a situation that doesn't require like super focus or stress.
It's just like being tired and hungry is typically when you're yawning.
So Marin has requested a remake, and it seems like the only issue is the skin. So we'll see what the refs say, if they want to give him the remake, or will they say no?
I hope in the room that they're deciding if the skin is allowed, they're like, how cool is the skin? Okay, what's the RP cost? Nah, we won't allow it. I don't like that skin. It looks too ugly.
That'd be an interesting way to do it. Again, you and I definitely have the... oh, there's a guy on camera.
Whoopsie.
His hair made it on. He actually had the perfect timing to get up right when we got on camera. Just shout outs to that guy. That's hard to do.
Good job, that
How could he
dude.
have known? There's no way. There's no way for him to know.
Yeah, it was coincidence.
That's the answer.
That's why it was a coincidence.
That's just really hard to do because, you know, there's a lot of fans, and it's like that one guy that's right in front of the camera decides to get up right when we're on camera. Can you tell I'm like a little bit tilted by that?
What?
Because like always, not in the LoL broadcast too much, but in the StarCraft ones that I do in the Next Gen Arena, people just like, they're going in and out and in and out. It's like we have multiple casters in the actual cast. So can get a little bit annoying.
So you get upset if they're taking some room.
Well, at least they don't cover us too much. Generally, they only like come up to here. So it's okay. It doesn't really bother me.
You spoke about it for like 2 minutes. You sound bothered.
Just a little bit, you know?
Well, we are getting a remake for Marin's skin.
I don't know what's worse.
Thought SKT didn't get it.
No, I don't think they did.
I guess Marin did have a radical skin that we totally have to check out.
Would be interesting to see. Maybe someone can go back in the VOD and check it out. Because we do show the skins before the games to come up. So I didn't actually get a chance to see which skin it was. Oh, he's coming back. Oh, there he is. all the people who are supposed to like keep him out of the way are actually dealing with the issue right now, so it makes sense.
That really bothers you.
No, it's fine. There's actually another guy who's thinking about getting. No, it's fine. It doesn't actually.
It's
matter.
just the back of some dude's head. It doesn't ruin the show.
Oh man, Marin's got a skin issue.
That looks so weird. Well, we need to put in-game skin issue because this looks like we're sending the wrong message out here. Look, he's got a towel on his hand. We are not.
He's covering it up. You know?
Oh no.
He's a little bit itchy. He actually does have a scar on his wrist. Did just see that. Not sure what that's from. Maybe he got a wrist injury from later in his life, or earlier in his life, rather.
Well, let's hope that his skin issues are only in-game and not outside of it. We want 100% health to all our gamers. Stay healthy, gamers. Water is the way to go, all right? Put that dew aside. Get some water in there.
Don't do the dew. Go with the
water.
water.
No, don't all of it. Just water. Just water. Just do water. Because we can't be like bashing one individual. All of it.
It's true.
Yeah.
You and I are big water drinkers. We don't really drink too much else.
As is every living organism.
I don't know. My brother only drinks like Coke and soda and stuff. Doesn't seem like the most healthy thing, but I guess he's still alive now, so that's good. It's true.
Yeah, he's still alive. All right.
Yeah, it's good. It's good news. Yeah, he's still with us.
Some people have different approaches to life. I, for one, just choose video games.
Video games and water. The road to a healthy life. Crumbs also likes to read in his spare time.
Yeah, I'm a big nerd.
But no comics. You're like a philosophy
Well, see,
guy.
one time I went to Japan to get comics, and see, I don't know what came over me because I fell in love with the art of the Hellboy comics, and I was like, I gotta have all of them. I gotta read them. But I was in Japan at the time, and I was so impatient for some reason that I couldn't just go to America and buy them there. Instead, I bought a handful of the Japanese editions. I was like, these are gonna be sick. Look at the art. And then I got them in Canada, and then I looked at them. And I was like, I can't understand a single word in this. What am I doing?
What did you think was going to happen?
I thought the art would be enough to carry it alone, but instead I just gifted them away and said, this is This is a cool gift, isn't it? Japanese. Whoa. You've ever seen a language like this? I gave you something you don't understand.
And then the person you gave it to was thinking the same thing. What the hell am I going to do with this? I don't speak Japanese.
Listen, it's the thought that counts, all right? It's letting them know I thought about you overseas.
It's just taking
My
up
thoughts
space
and
in their
prayers
house.
went to you.
What if they just gifted that away to someone else? What
Good.
if it's forever in
Good.
the gift
I hope
cycle?
they gave it to somebody that speaks Japanese or that can read Japanese.
Well, in that case, I think it would be okay. There's definitely some big weebs out there, bigger weebs than you, Crumbs, that would enjoy that. You were on the cusp.
Well, it's a comic, like an American comic, not anime or not manga.
Yeah, but it's in Japanese.
That's because it was translated from English. It wasn't originally Japanese.
Yes, you're right. You are correct. The art must have been pretty cool for you to buy that, I assume.
Yeah, it's the Hellboy comics. It's Lobster Johnson. How can you not love Lobster Johnson? I don't like superheroes, but Lobster does it for me.
What is his superpower?
Nothing. Violence.
What does he, like, bash you with his claws?
Yeah, he fights for justice. So he packs guns and his fists and random
He has
weapons.
guns?
And he burns people down. He burns
He
them down
burns
with
people.
his
He's a
claw.
lobster.
He has like a claw hand, and then he just burns their face with it and marks them. But he's a vigilante.
How does he heat up his claws?
He doesn't. No, he doesn't have claws. He's got a glove.
He's a lobster.
It's not. His name is Lobster. It's a character.
It's like a
no,
a
it's
human?
a person. It's not a lobster. All right.
But his name is Lobster Johnson.
Yeah, it's
I
like
thought like his superpower would be
Spider-Man
like
a spider.
claw people to death.
Is Spider-Man a spider? It's a Green Lantern.
He does spidery
non-stationary
things,
object.
Right? You don't randomly name yourself Lobster Johnson if you're not doing lobstery
Well, listen,
things.
he's badass. All right.
Does he crawl
Right.
on all fours? What does he do?
He's a guy. He's just. I told you, he's just a guy that uses violence as his #1 MO. He fights for whatever view of justice he has, which is apparently everybody deserves to be at the mercy of justice, but he's just relentless and looks cool doing it.
Maybe
he fights
it's
supernatural
because
beings too.
humans, they've been
Listen, don't
abusing
bring
lobsters.
back no more lobster, all right? It's not a lobster. That's just the name.
He's fighting back for all
Think
the
of it like
lobsters out there. He's like,
no.
you've been abusing us for so long, eating us.
It's literally like
Cooking
Spider-Man.
us
It's
in boiling
literally
oil.
like Spider-Man, where the only spider thing he does is he climbs and shoots webs. The only lobster thing he does, he stings people. He brands them with his claw glove.
Oh, okay. So his hand is in the shape of a claw.
Yeah, he's a regular human. He's the concept of vigilante. He's not a mutant. He just dresses up and fights crime.
I see. I'd have to see the claw, though.
Oh, my.
How does he heat up the claw?
I don't know. With his cigar, he puts a cigar to it or something.
I don't think that's how branding works.
You can brand somebody with a cigar.
With a cigar, but if you put the cigar on your claw and then you try to brand with your claw.
It's a paranormal world, all right? I just want to get over the he's not a lobster.
Okay, yeah, I understood that. I got that by the end of this conversation. I never saw Hellboy. I know there were movies and stuff.
No, the movies are not good.
Okay.
They're kind of like a Fifth Element kind of feel, but you love them because you understand the concept before you watch them, but the execution, you need a big budget to execute something like that. So those big worlds.
Well, I won't watch it then. Thank you for the anti-recommendation. Definitely won't check that out. But, yeah, we still have the skin issue going on, guys. We assure you that Marin the human is okay, but Marin the Rumble in the game is not happy with his skin. And we did make a new lobby, get in the game, and apparently it happened again. So we're just waiting to make a new room, I think.
We're trying to find as many ointments as it takes to get this resolved. We will get to the dermis of this and the epidermis.
Wow. We're going deep.
I believe dermis is the top and epidermis is beneath the skin.
I think you're correct.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, like
since
epicenter, right? Like epi. I believe it's Latin.
Yeah. I took 4 years of Latin in high school.
And do you remember any of it?
A little bit. Like particles and sentence structure, stuff like that. not a lot of the vocabulary. I think that's because obviously it's a dead language. You don't speak it. I'm not going to go, somewhere and be like, oh, that's the name of this in Latin, because there's no reason for me to. So definitely lost most of my vocabulary.
Latin. You can wing it.
You can wing it?
Yeah, you can wing Latin.
You can kind of do
you
that.
got to wing it out in the streets.
What are you talking about? You got to wing that Latin out in the streets?
Yeah, you fake it. You fake your Latin.
Fake it till you make it?
There's no other ways you could surprise. You could survive out in the street without faking Latin.
You just got to add us and
to
a bunch of stuff.
That was a long, like a deep-seated, always sunny reference.
Oh, okay. I actually started watching that. I watched the first 3 episodes, I think.
There's a lot, though.
I know, there's like 9 seasons or like 12 seasons, something ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Because it started in 2005. I'd say it was really enjoyable, the first 3 episodes that I watched, but I've been pretty busy, so I haven't watched any more, but definitely will get on that.
Which character do you relate to the most?
I don't even remember their names, which is a bit of a problem. I can kind of describe them. Maybe the who's that guy? I don't even know how to describe it. He's like kind of they treat him like the idiot of the group in a way.
Charlie?
He's like taller. He's not the brother of the sister, and he's not like the shorter guy that like gets drunk and stuff. Actually, no, I don't even know. Maybe. See, I don't remember their names.
There's 2 black-haired dudes, one that's bigger, one that's smaller.
Yeah, the bigger guy. I don't know if I relate to him so much as I like the humor surrounding his character the most.
Okay.
I would say. I don't think I know the characters well enough to say like, oh yeah, I get into this situation very often, or
I would surely hope so, that your relatability to these characters is not because you find yourself in a similar situation to what they are getting into.
Seems pretty ridiculous, the scenarios.
You're saying
these guys
that
get
right now,
themselves
three episodes in, but somebody that's watched a whole lot more will be like, wow, you relate to that? Well, that's your thing.
So, guys, we had them remake the game for a 3rd time, and they paused it right away. So, I don't know what to tell you, but this time it's Bless's problem, as he's got the skin issue now. Seems like it's spreading to the rest of our players.
It's sickening. It's like a zombie epidemic.
Contagious across booths.
Yeah, across booth.
It spreads through the internet, obviously.
It's string theory, but with skin issues.
Yeah. Makes sense. I do like that idea. I was thinking maybe, through the electricity, like goes through into the ground, and one player's connected to their mouse and keyboard, and it spreads to the other guy in the other booth.
Jesus.
I mean, it's got to spread somehow, right?
It could just be a sneeze kind of thing.
And like the ref went over there and then brought it over to the other booth.
Yeah.
Could be. It's true.
Through the technology.
Yeah. You think maybe it would spread to Crazy because he seems the most tired. Maybe his immune system is the one suffering the most. I know that I've been trying to switch my sleep schedule from waking up at around 2 every day, because all of our work is.
Oh, what a difficult.
No, I know it is. It is actually. If you get stuck into a habit, we were talking about how humans are creatures of habit, but from 2 every day to around 11. And it's definitely a big jump of 3 hours.
I think most people wake up at 6 in the morning.
Well, most people who have like normal jobs,
which is
that
most
go to an
people.
office.
That's why they're called normal.
Most adults, maybe not a lot of the people watching.
People in school, people in university, people in preschools.
It depends on what time your classes are.
Young people that want to work out.
Well, I get what you're saying. Probably like
farmers,
6 or 7. Farmers get up at like 4.
People that are
people that have insomnia.
People whose alarm went off too early. It's a BBQ skin issue, guys. It's too crispy.
Can't take this chicken skin anymore. We're getting the zoom in on Kramer, even though it's Bless's issue. We got to check Bless out. That's Ghost.
Are you a wet or dry wing kind of guy?
What? What is a dry?
Wet or dry wing?
What do you mean wet or dry? What does that mean?
Well, when you have chicken wings,
yeah,
you serve it either wet, which is a wet sauce, so it'll be kind of messy,
like
or a dry
sauce.
Yeah, or dry, where it's seasoned but with spices and it's typically drier. And I'm saying that because we're looking at a bunch of barbecue signs that are making me hungry.
Yeah, you know what? It is making me hungry now, too. Probably a wet sauce guy. Just that explosion of flavor in your mouth.
Cool.
You know what I'm talking about, Crumbs?
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I got an idea. I got an idea, but I'm typically a dry dude.
Okay, that's interesting.
I got to keep my hands neat.
Yeah, it definitely does take away from the enjoyment if you are constantly having to worry about your hands being dirty.
I mean, I don't care. I can just power through it, but it just gets, like, I get so in the zone that I start just spilling everywhere, and I'd rather not do that.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm going out on an important kind of dinner, an important day, whatever it may be, a business opportunity, you don't want to have wet wings by your side, unless they're into that thing, and then you just have a big mess.
What?
Yeah, if everybody wants to get wet wings.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, there's definitely a bunch of foods not to order when you're on like an important meeting, such as a first date, or you're trying to make.
Wait, like what?
Well, stuff like soups.
What? Why would you not order a soup on a first date?
Because okay, let's say you get a soup, right?
Yeah.
You start eating it. It's summer. The steam, or rather, it's winter. Okay, you go inside. The steam, it heats up your sinuses. All of a sudden, you got a runny nose. You're blowing your nose on a date.
So what? I'm a human.
You're
I'm
humiliating yourself.
What? That's not humiliating.
Another thing to not eat, is wet wings. Because your hands are getting all dirty.
I can see wet wings, but if it's if it's agreed upon that you both love wet wings, it's perfectly fine. Also, I think the sinus, that's BS. What? That's not embarrassing. That's just being a human. If she doesn't know that I'm having to blow my nose because of the delicious food that is entering my system, then I don't even want to. She should just leave.
She should just go.
Yeah.
I don't want to see her face. But yeah, I can see what you're saying, but generally, if you're trying to impress as much, maybe like business meeting is a better way to put it for you, where it's like you're in there and your partner, he's eating, well, not your partner, the business guy, he's eating a bunch of rice and stuff. He's eating a very clean dish. He scoops it up with a spoon, and it's totally fine. Meanwhile, you're going to town on this soup that has a bunch of soup, obviously. It's spilling all over you. You got soup all over your face.
Wait a minute.
Your nose starts running. You got to blow your nose. You look inferior.
What? What in the world am I hearing? No. Eating soup does not make you look inferior.
Not eating soup, but the reaction that your body has does.
It's just the normal reaction to food. First of all, I'm going to eat cleanly. I can eat keeping food on the spoon, on the plate.
But then you can't really enjoy it as much,
What?
Because you're trying to be careful, like you're some,
but you get good in that. No,
Englishman
you don't have to
something.
be careful. It's not that hard. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is eating soup for you? I think that's what the problem is.
No, it's not that hard for me.
Give me a number.
Of course I'm a fantastic soup eater. What are you trying to say? Eating soup is like hard to eat? I mean, it depends. Do you have chopsticks?
You've got chopsticks and a spoon.
Chopsticks and a spoon. Okay. Well, maybe like a 4 or 5?
Shouldn't it be like a 1?
A 1? No. I wasn't born using chopsticks.
Well, we are going to get right into the game. So we'll never get to the bottom of when did Valdez acquire his chopstick abilities.
Okay, we're doing it. We're doing it live. They said, okay, one more time, 1/4 remake, and if it doesn't work, we're just doing it. And Well, speaking of skins, I'll just let this one play.
You know what? I think we need a little more cowbell.
Tushin, come on, what are you doing?
Oh, look at that accuracy.
Bless, he's... What is that red stuff that was coming out of the spear? Was that blood?
No, that's the transformation.
What?
Well, it's the Warring Kingdom's Nidalee, and when it transforms, when you transform from Cougar and vice versa, you get different. Oh, he's feeding little kittens, but you get, I believe it's red leaves.
Okay, that makes sense.
That come out of the spear as well as her transformation.
If you had to pick any other time period to live in, what time period would it be, and where?
20 minutes ago, before we got a remake.
Would it be here in the studio, or
right
do you want to be?
Right here.
Right here?
Wouldn't change
in
a
your
thing.
Seat? Okay. I see. That's cool.
Well, Bless also gets to go for a quick level 3 gank. This could also turn into a big farm route if he just pathes from Wolves into blue. Grompa can always return to the Raptor camp. We actually saw this route in the game 1 that yielded that first blood into the bottom side. He was at least that time around, so he might be going for a replica of that route, or instead we could see an invade onto Mowgli, as he now just got scouted going from the Raptor camp into the red side. So BBQ have full knowledge as to what Mowgli is up to, and we'll see how Bless reacts.
Yeah, you can clear really fast, and as Nidalee, you can jump the wall. So here he comes, looking to get on top of Mowgli, gonna put the ward down, sees that the red is done. Doesn't quite spot Mowgli though as he's coming around, but Bless gonna take that blasting plant and just go ahead and steal these Krugs.
That's quite curious there. Mowgli actually did sense Bless on that Tremor sense, so did not acknowledge it and instead goes straight for the Raptor cap again on mid.
Okay, they do get that knock up, but the flash comes out. Is it going to be too late? One more hit will do it. Oh, so close. Flash will be the first blood for Kuro in the mid lane.
Mowgli finds a way onto the mid lane, even though Bless is on this side of the way. Kuro!
Ooh, the spear not going to work. And it's getting a little bit close. That red buff ticking on him. Looks like he should be okay. But he wants more. He's sticking around here.
He'll be fine here. Oh, Tucson might be fancying it. That's a good flash there. He would have had to flash had Tucson gone for a WQ combo, although there might have actually been a chance that Tucson did not have a headbutt pulverized combination. It's unlikely, but that kind of next level communication is so rare to see that the bottom lane communicates something like that. But we can assume that he had it, and the preemptive flash is the right choice. So another gank onto the, or another look onto the gank on mid lane. As soon as Nako comes out, he tries to flash out of the Phosphorus Bomb. Unfortunately, he's already in range for Kuro to finish him off with that final auto attack.
Look at Mowgli's route here, all the way from behind, and crazy. He doesn't recognize it yet. Now he knows as Marin's turning on to him. Getting pretty close. He is on the run. Not much that he can do, though. How can he escape the flash on Burrow? That's going to be a second kill going over to Afreeca.
Fool me once, all right, but fool me twice, it's not going to happen, as Crazy once again tries to escape a gank by running into the enemy side of the map. Mowgli had flashed this time around. He was on Jason, not Renekton, so he ends up paying with his life. And now Rumble is going to be quite happy in this lane. Already had a decent CS. He was not punished in the denying factor. And Mowgli is 1-0-1.
Yeah, great start for him. And oh, look at this damage coming out from the Tristana. Really getting Tushin extremely low. The heal forced to be used. But he does get away alive.
A rare sight to see where the Tristana gets to reset her jump and uses it once again. A gank onto Marin, though. He's going to be able to see the spear coming.
Yeah, can flash it, but just takes it. And there he goes for the flash, but already Bless had the jump. But nice composure out of Marin to make it out of that one.
He dodges out well. He's already decently tanky, and there's not a lot of damage onto Crazy, so he wasn't in much of a threat of dying, considering that Nidalee also has no damage items at this stage in the game. She's gone with mobility and vision to try to hinder Mowgli's gank so far, and Tempt continues to look for action, and it's refreshing to see that BBQ is taking it upon themselves to accelerate this game. They need to get a lead this time around, and this early game going over to Afreeca is so difficult for them to bounce back from, because this composition has no chance when it comes to the late game, and they know this. So falling behind early means that Afreeca can just say, you know what, we're not even going to play aggressive anymore. We've got what we came for out of the early game. This can ensure us a victory in the mid and late. But instead, they're being proactive as well. They're getting deep vision, they're trying to scout out what Bless is doing, and they're preventing any attempts at ganking these lanes.
You were talking about that deep vision. It seems like Bless knew that was coming, perhaps had a good idea it was there, so he uses that scrying orb, is going to clear out the majority of that vision. Is scouted doing the Raptors though, so they do know where he is at this point in time. Mowgli up towards the top once again. Crazy still does have his flash, as he didn't use it on the last gank, so is going to be playing it a lot safer out from here. Still has a ward up there.
Crazy has to respect Mowgli now, but BBQ needs to start getting creative here. Ganking Marin is viable, but he's going to have Equalizer to defend himself, and even looking at him now, you can tell how far back he is playing that lane. So it would have to come down to Bless thinking of a route to sneak past the Scuttle Crab, the left side ward, to find a way behind Marin. And it's unlikely, but they need to come up with something. They have Weaver's Wall that they can use to go for a dive. You can expect that one coming out onto the bottom side or to the top of the map, but there's always double teleport to threat. Corki now has his backup, and so it looks like all that BBQ can go for is perhaps securing the river and looking towards an Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, still pretty early on in this game, as we are at about 7:30, but they clear out the vision and they go for the timing on the blue buff. So nicely done here. Good teamwork out of both Bless and Totoro to allow that to happen. Looks like Bless is going to go for a bit of a recall here. Interested to see what he will pick up on the recall.
Ether Wisp is typically what you see when somebody's already prioritizing mobility and doesn't want to go with the mobility boots early on, as it doesn't make a lot of sense on Nidalee. But this is the moment that BBQ is wanting. They denied the blue buff on Kuro. They're going to get theirs on Temp. They have double buffs on Nidalee. They are so strong right now that they need to make something happen. The pressure that is in mid lane has to spill to the sides. Otherwise, no better time will come than now. Just a couple of levels have come in, and more importantly, Marin does not have Equalizer, so they can gank top without the wave being cleared, and they can gank bottom without the threat of either a teleport or just a roam from Rumble there, being there with an Equalizer. So Bless needs to be stepping it up, going to the other side of the map, utilizing Temp to make something happen, because the time is ticking.
Yeah, where exactly is it gonna go? It looks like for mid lane, as a fight begins between Tempt and Kuro, trying to knock him into the spear, but it does not work. And the flash from Burrow, the Nidalee is super squishy here. The Void Rush is easily gonna pick him up, and Mowgli picks up himself up another kill.
Oh, an overcommitment on that one. As soon as Spear misses, Nidalee just cannot go in. This is not the Nidalee that was so broken before, where all your abilities would just murder anybody. Spear has to land, and the second that it does, she's unable to assist in the fight, and now Mowgli finds a way to go into that kill. Marin still doesn't have Equalizer, but there is a teleport onto Kuro that he just burned, actually. Marin's about to die.
Oh yeah, he's in a ton of trouble here, looking for that wall to come up, and just gotta push that lane, Crazy. Go for it. There's the Shock Blast, looking for the knockup. Marin trying to dodge everything. Can he actually do it? Crazy taking a ton of damage. One more hit should do it, but Tempt, he's forced to flash out of there. They do pick up the kill. Here's Kuro. Can't get there in time.
At least he clears out the wave, so minion denial isn't there, and instead Dragon comes out. This is greedy from BBQ, though. They're so low. Kuro has little mana.
Trying to get that knockup of the Valkyrie away. He's going to turn it onto Crazy, who flashes the missile. Doesn't quite hit. And in the meanwhile, Mowgli, he's like, okay, you guys can play up in top lane. I'll go for the Infernal Drake. The spear is going to miss, and Kuro should be totally fine.
The fact that BBQ wants to go for that just tells us how desperate they are. That play was not going to work, but they tried it anyways. They thought they could get the knockback onto Kuro and pop him immediately, but they just don't have enough resources at their disposal, and the chance of trading at least a 1-for-1 were so damn high. And BBQ getting so desperate, they lost a Dragon, they've lost the pressure top and mid. The jungle matchup is already won by Mowgli. And unfortunately, their only visit now is to the bottom side, but this is now a level 6 Alistar and a level 7 Zaya. That's a hard lane to gank.
Yeah, good luck. I mean, he could try, but doubt he will at this point in time unless they get the perfect setup. So going to be stuck in this weird place where they want to make something happen, but they've been failing so far. And once you get behind, and if Afreeca goes for a nice dive like this, I mean, this is going to be a 5-man coming down here as the teleport makes its way from both these players. Really nice package, going to cut them off. Lots of damage eaten there, though, by Tushin. They're going to cut off the BBQ members for now. Tempt, though, always poking, trying to get them low enough so that BBQ could potentially counter-engage. Look at Mowgli in the mid lane. Or rather, Bless, he's still there. That huge attack there from the Rumble is going to kill everybody in this bottom lane. Down goes 1 and 2, make it 3 and 4. A knockup is going to be good, but it just does not matter.
A near perfect wipe. Nidalee just deciding, do you go mid, do you go bottom? Instead, Afreeca makes the choice for them. You go nowhere because we killed everybody else. They waited for them to situate themselves under the tower, and the combo came out. They still had Equalizer, they still had the Pulverize, and it just looked beautiful. They cooked up a new BBQ, and that skin issue has now been extra charred.
Let's take another look at this replay because, again, Bless, chilling mid. He had as much time as possible. The triple knock-up into Equalizer is about as good as it gets at this point.
That was beautiful. Tushin goes with the ult flash right away. And what's best about it is that the Equalizer gets used instantly. You don't wait for them to be on the ground for the Equalizer to come out. They use it the second that Tushin goes in before they even fall down. The damage registers, and so they die immediately.
And to be honest, BBQ's play early on in this game is nothing like what they were showing in game number 1 of this series. They were given a lot of time on the break that we had, the delay, to think about how they were going to take out Afreeca, and so far it has not been working at all, as it seems like a lack of communication, perhaps some desperation coming in. It's not pretty.
Well, it's
BBQ.
A big part is the draft. You know, they drafted themselves into this hole early on. With the Nidalee, then you don't have much of an option. You need to get ahead early. And we're thinking, all right, they might be able to pull this off if Afreeca doesn't do anything late, but most of the time, a composition that has the Zaya, or pardon, the Taliyah and Jace topside needs a big front line to be able to stall out the game. You need a good late game carry to wait for it out. And
oh boy, Bless just roaming through the jungle is taken out, and Mowgli truly is the king of the jungle this time around.
And these compositions typically have another jungler, and instead they valued denying the Braum. They took it themselves, and Afreeca with a good ban onto the Gragas put BBQ in a tough position that now they won't have a major tank. Now their composition synergy is no longer as important as it was before. Now it falls onto execution in an early game, one which, as long as Afreeca play out decently patient, they will always come out ahead on the mid game. And even though BBQ did get some things early on, that first gank from Mowgli was big. As soon as the Taliyah falls behind, and that's an Ignite Taliyah to highlight how much pressure BBQ wanted to put on early. As soon as she falls behind, this game is in no man's land.
This is BBQ clearing waves at this point, trying not to get eaten. And Afreeca, I think this is probably going to be the most one-sided game, I should say, rather, of the night out of Afreeca as they clear up their consistency issues from earlier on in the series, come through. Crazy not quite as fed on this Jace as he was in game number 1. And they're going to try to make it work here again. The spear misses. Not quite able to land the shock blast. Look at Martin, he's just gonna turn it around so confidently. He has his team following up. Here comes Tushin, running on in, and the TP too. He's gonna knock up Bless and really stun him for ages. Here comes Curl. Looks like they might just pick up Crazy in the trade, although they are looking for more. Ghost is gonna help out his support by pushing Kramer away. Will just be 1 kill.
And Marin can do that every time. That's a 0-2 Nidalee that has defensive tools. She doesn't have a lot of damage on her right now. That Jace was not able to go full damage. At this point, he's still waiting on the cleaver. He hasn't completed the Blade of the Rune King. He's full components at this stage in the game, so he's not worried. And the Tabis, the extra HP and armor that Marin has are enough for him to turn that gank around, as well as having the minion advantage that the Equalizer always gives you. And this is just the beginning of the end. It's only going to get worse from here for BBQ.
Yeah, they're definitely very much struggling, and even though we talk about consistency issues for Afreeca, definitely showing themselves here for BBQ overall as a team. Part of the reason why they are in the position they are in LCK. And the only thing I can hope for now is some more cowbell. I mean, Tushin, he already got one MVP. Maybe he's looking for a second, so he's playing all serious-like.
He's shooting for those MVP points, as you're saying. That was a great engage out of the bottom side. And even if this game doesn't get as clean as one would like out of Afreeca, the fact that they pulled the trigger onto that gank bottom was great. That's something that we can take away from, that this team is still trying to be working as a unit when it comes to the mid and late game, that they're actively working on their issues of consistency. And it's refreshing to see, because it's the hope that we want Afreeca to give to us, the hope that these players that have been at the top on previous teams before can accomplish on this new lineup, or relatively new lineup compared to some of the most long-standing teams in the LCK.
I'm glad that Afreeca pulled it together, because, man, they're in a situation with SKT really hurting. Hold that thought. We'll talk about it a little bit later as they zone out BBQ from the turret. But Afreeca, they're in a position where SKT has gone 0-2 to 3 teams in a row. And Afreeca, if they win this one, they're going to be 8-5, just one win away from SKT. So had they lost, they really would have been kicking themselves. For a loss against BBQ when they're this close to getting a better seed in playoffs, definitely need this win.
And we have to see it as just that, just a victory or a loss, because we want to give them credit for some consistency, but it goes both ways, because I really want to say that the tools that BBQ have drafted are no longer relevant. They outdated themselves. They committed to full-on attack in LeBron's age, and it just did not work. And now they find themselves against Steel. You've got a Yordle that has his correct skin. They have itemized properly. They have selected the right skins, and that just means that Afreeca can do whatever they want, and they never have to worry about BBQ finding a pick onto them, because think about it. Who's going to get caught and how? Right? Tempt is too weak right now. Jace can't catch anybody by himself. Nidalee cannot. That's a support Nidalee as well. Then you've got Tristana, who's nowhere near strong enough to take out anybody by herself. And then you've got Braum, who needs the help out of everybody else. And unfortunately for them, they need to group up 4 people at this stage if they really want to get some kills, because they can expect Afreeca to respond with numbers, with the teleports, with the long-range mobility of Corki, the long-range assist of the Equalizer, and the Xayah that is always deadly and seems to just mirror anything that Alistar is doing.
We got Baron coming up in about a minute. We had a lot of action earlier on in this game, but ever since it's kind of slowed down as BBQ has really just laid down and to let Afreeca do whatever they want on this map. They've taken all the outer turrets, even the bottom tier 2, and they're playing so confidently, and so it's their map essentially at this point. They're just going for whatever they want. And ooh, look at that knockup. It was pretty cool to watch, but no kill.
Well timed there from Tucson, utilizing the knowledge that Rocket Jump can avoid those spells to wait it out a little bit further, make sure that he interrupts Ghost channeling of that. But Afreeca is so far ahead right now, and they have scaling that is so in their favor that they could legitimately start a Baron, lose that Baron, and still have the advantage in these team fights.
Look at that play. I mean, the wall going out, trying to stop the Rift Herald. It's the most desperate times right now for a BBQ, as now they have no wall to even stop this push from coming in, as we'll get a big charge onto the inhibitor turret. And a nice shock blast from the right side. Afreeca does have to be a bit careful. They can't just run straight into the turret just yet, but they get a nice chunk of damage at least.
And at least they have the Primal Surge to keep them relevant in the laning phase. Corki Rockets are typically more than enough for some people to handle if you get hit by one of those rapid-fire cannon crits, especially because they are so squishy on the side of BBQ. But having Nidalee by their sides means that they can get a little bit closer, hit some of that wave clear that is so important, and stall out the game and not allow Afreeca to go for it. A 20-minute inhibitor turret push.
Oh, my mic was out of position. Pretty impressive stuff out of Afreeca so far. Kind of just doing their duty at this point to end out this game. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do to take the Baron. They have taken both of the dragons so far, one Infernal, one Ocean. The next one will be Ocean, so not the biggest deal after all.
Oh, but I gotta say, this one feels just inevitable because the late game team fights, Talia, that single target damage that typically just hits one person. Then you've got Jace, whose spells can get body blocked and only can really do damage when he jumps in. Then you've got Nidalee, who can also get body blocked. And then you have Tristana, who isn't the highest DPS carry in the game by, or even close to it. And so if Afreeca remain grouped and have Knight's Vows and have tools to protect each other, they can stall out these fights forever, wait out their damage dealers' rotations, and just guarantee themselves victory after victory. And that's why BBQ have to just wait around and hope that Afreeca make a Baron mistake. They legitimately have to wait for their mistake, and this could be it, but they're so far away from it because they have done their due diligence to clear out the vision.
They have the blue ward coming down here, so they know this is happening, but no TP, no chance. The spear can't even reach the Baron, so that's going to be a free one going over to Afreeca, picked up by Mowgli. And now is when the real pushing should begin.
Yeah, this whole game has turned into a free one. It's just what happens when you draft like this.
They've got too far behind at this point. The Nidalee, less than impressive. That's what I'll say. Don't really want to see this one again unless they have ways to make it work. I mean, that's what you were talking about before the game even started. Like, where are you going to land your spears? Tempt tried to knock him into a spear, but that's like the most mechanically intensive move that any team has on either side right now. So, kind of like a pipe dream. Not really going to work out for them.
Well, Nidalee's typically better when you have the Alistar and not the Braum. The Braum and Nidalee synergy requires a lot more tanks on your side, especially top side, to make it work. But having the Alistar gives you a good lane setup, a good 2v2 partner in these skirmishes, and allows you to transition to a team fighting phase, as well as having endless heals. But Nidalee with Braum, if it comes out to this stage in the game, they just run away. They can't even proc stun on their own.
Just can't do much. Every spear missing over and over and over. That's going to be one inhibitor going down. We've got a big wave here in mid lane as they have been staggering these correctly. Oh, look at the damage that Bless has taken from that Rumble. Already has the Void Staff and the Leandry's finished, as well as that arm guard, so he's just pumping out the damage. That's going to be the second inhibitor going down, and look at the bottom lane push. This might just be a clean sweep.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if BBQ lose the entire game without even getting a fight. They have no ways of even starting one. They just have to throw their bodies into the fire and hope that the sacrifice is enough. But we are past those days. Afreeca can just retreat and do it again, and in about 5 minutes, we're going to see a game-winning push.
That wall was about as effective as the wall I tried to make in my room with my brother made out of tape. What? Said, don't come over to my side of the room. This is my side of the room. You stay over there. Didn't work.
Is that when he came over and you guys were like 25?
No, no. That would be hilarious if actually I did that. Like, you're sick, you stay over on that side of the room. But no, when I was like, what, 7?
Oh, okay, okay. I really needed that clarification.
Okay. This is my side of the room, and that's your side of the room. Unfortunately, Afreeca listened about as much as my brother did. They just crossed the wall, and eventually the wall disappeared because they took it down.
You know what's also going to get taken down? BBQ right now, because this draft was so bad.
Yeah, this definitely does win an award. I wish there was some kind of
Like,
what do they call that award? The like Rotten Tomatoes award, something where it's like the
Well,
worst
actually,
something of the year.
there is one thing that is similar to that. In Japan, they have these competitions. That's the worst robot competition. So wait a minute. Yeah, nothing's gonna happen.
Well, let's take a look at this fight here.
Oh.
Sotaro, he does get a big knock up, but there's just no damage on the side. Mowgli's trying to go alone. The equalizer is really, really nice. Guro actually will die. He has shamed his team as he goes down, and that's going to be the last Nexus turret. And finally, it looks like Afreeca should be able to end this one. They're getting greedy. They want more kills. Marin does pick it up. Tushin, he's going to get the kill on attempt. What a play. That's going to be game number 3, going over to Afreeca as they finally take the series.
The eventuality of the compositions meet in under 26 minutes, and what initially felt like a slow game just got blown right up 2-13 in the favor of Afreeca. That last game was nothing but a warm summer breeze for them. BBQ back to the drawing board, and hopefully with a more serious approach on this, and because, you know, maybe if Bless and Crazy and Tempt were the #1 players in their respective roles in the world, can the composition that doesn't have setup and is purely skill shots work? And we give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they have these crazy standout performances to let this happen, but we have to recognize that if you don't snowball, the game is over. You have a small window to make it happen. They didn't do it. Afreeca capitalized, and they understood. They were well aware that they just have to slow down, and they'll win the game eventually.
Good couple of games from Mowgli. He looked a lot more impressive in game 3 compared to game 2. Was very smart with this play. He's like, okay, Nidalee's going top. Marin, you just play it safe. I'll go mid and look for the gank. And from there on out, definitely was winning that jungle in terms of just him against Bless. Got pretty nice leads for his laners. Even went up into top from way far behind to take out Crazy, which was another nice play that he made. But I'm sure we're going to get to see some of that in the replays right now.
Yeah, that's a first blood where he snuck past the Nidalee, finds a way onto the mid lane, and then all it takes is Kura. Hit him with a flash, auto attack to secure the first blood, and then he goes again onto the mid lane, and this is when it actually comes as a counter gank where Nidalee appears, but the spear hit. And the second that she commits, a great use of flash. And what I like about the new Rek'Sai is that she can actually do this now. The way that her ultimate works is that no longer does she just try to burst you out, but in the meantime, let's just look at this, admire, sit here in awe, gaze upon the beauty that is the synergy of Alistar and the Rumble Equalizer to just cook up everybody under turret, and best of all, the tower juggling aggro. Not a single person died. A 5v4 died where they were low, and here's Bless getting caught out once again. If you forgot how it looked the first time around, we'll give you a replay.
Poor Cougar. Just wanted to take the red and didn't really see many spears landing. Marin's like, huh, okay, if you really want to fight, we can, if you really want.
Well, it's like when you play a Nidalee comp, you expect Nidalee to bring damage. That's what you're working with. All right, Nidalee brings damage. How can you ensure the damage? CC. You need champions that can lock somebody up from far range. One of the greatest metas for Nidalee was when Lissandra mid was a thing, where you could set her up so easily with Twisted Fate, an easy setup, Renekton, Alistar, long-range AoE CCs, Ashe, Jhin, Varus, so much in single target CC or just AoE long-range crowd control that when you have none of it, you can't expect the damage to come from because it's a skill shot.
Yeah, so you guys can see how one-sided that was. BBQ only able to pick up a couple of kills in under 26 minutes, I'll say. So guys, let's go over to the interview. I'll hand it over to Jisun for the translation.
Hi, this is Jisun, your translator, and here we have Tusin for the interview. So how was today's match? Well, we knew that it will be a tough game since BBQ was in a good form, so we prepared a lot. So your engagement with your Rakan in the team fight was great. What kind of methods did you prepare for it? I personally thought that I didn't play well with Rakan in the game 2. I thought I played better in the third set. I tried to make engagement with Oriana, but it didn't work out really well. And it actually made our game more risky, but we kind of figured it out well, so we won the game. So it was 3 Jaya in a row. As a supporter, how is Jaya? Regardless of the Jaya's functions, we're just trying to get used to it, so we're trying to keep on picking on it. And when the game 2, the momentum for the game was that when we got kills in the top lane, we thought we were gonna win the game for sure. And then let's check out the MVP for the last set.
Who will it be? I have to wonder. It's going to be Mowgli. Not dying a single time, setting up all of his laners, and doing a great job as a jungler.
That could be the record for the fastest 100 MVP points. Only 3 games and already in the scoreboards. How impressive.
These were definitely the 2 big ganks that got his team way far ahead, whereas the Nidalee was relatively useless. Crazy just forced into this fight, so we will be hearing from Mowgli as well.
We're back with Mowgli. So how do you feel about being the MVP? I'm really happy, and I'm gonna work harder to get more MVP points. Give him any compliments for Mowgli. Yeah, he's been practicing a lot recently, so I'm really happy to see him performing really well on the match. Then what kind of feedback did the coach give you before the game 2? He told me to get ready, so I prepared by myself a lot before the game, and that's how we won the game. So I want to ask that how did you feel when you're doing the cowbell with Alista? I just did it because I wanted, and I just trying to do as fast as I can as the game began because I knew I was in the shot. As a teammate, yeah, he wanted us to follow up, so I just trying to play silly with him. So is Alista OP right now? So Alista has a lot of CCs, and also we didn't have much tanks, so I think I picked Alista for the game 3. And last message for your fans, please. So it's my first MVP interview as a pro gamer. So thank you for the support always. And also I would like to thank our coach, our head coach, and the coaching staffs. And I would like to say the same as Mowgli. So it's almost the end of the season. We will really try hard to make 2-0 games. And this was the end of the interview.
Well, thank you, Ji-sun, for that interview. It's cool to see Tucson, or Yeah, Tushin and Mowgli getting up there. They don't get interviewed all that often, but we're definitely the big MVPs for this day.
Yeah, heartwarming to see. You know, he said, "I practiced backstage by myself. That's why we won." And you know, he is in the back of his head planning out the speech that he would give when he received his first MVP point award. This could be enough confidence in him to see the beginnings of a potential great player. For now, we won't know. All we'll know is that Afreeca is 8-5, 1 game away from SK Telecom.
It's crazy to see what we've come down to. I mean, Longju up near the top, a team that we called out as being fantastic and should be up near the top, but also SKT falling down. Even KT doing better than them right now with 1 less loss. Obviously do have a game to play, but Afreeca, they're on the heels. And Jin Air knocking at the door as well. I know they are a couple of wins behind, but it's possible.
It just means that playoffs are going to be hype out of this world. All these teams are competitive with themselves. You don't know who shows up on one day. Some are inconsistent. Some try random metas. Others don't work. Others substitute players left, right, and center. And all we know is that they all provide us great entertainment in League of Legends play.
Yeah, as you're saying, on playoff day, anyone can win. Even if it's like Jin Air versus SKT on the first day, if like something crazy like that happens. So I'm really excited to get to playoffs eventually. I know we're getting near the end of LCK. We're about 3 weeks out. I think this was the beginning of week 7. So
the regular season's getting wrapped up soon.
So we're getting close, guys. I mean, seems like it's flying by.
Well, playoffs are a month away.
We're almost there.
The end of August, kind of halfway through that point. And that's when everybody's global meta starts to sizzle over, where we can figure out, yes, these teams play this way, these teams play that way. Let's compare, and then we can start doing the analysis for Worlds. Which team is going to be the very best? Which meta favors which other? Who's trying different picks, or who's been kind of limping into qualifying for this international tournament? And oh, it just gives me jitters all over again.
Yeah, it's really exciting as we do come down to the end of summer as well. If you had to pick one team who's going to win summer, who do you think? You got to know the answer in your heart.
No, not right now. We don't even know who's in playoffs. Show me who's in playoffs.
It's got to be Longju, right?
No,
I mean,
show me who's in playoffs. It could be them.
I think it's going to be Longju. I'm feeling the Longju hype.
That's bold. What if they...
It's bold, but any pick at this point is bold, right?
Yeah.
Except SKT, funnily enough. Even though they did get 0-2 3 times in a row. So, not 100% sure. Still a lot on the line for every team, and we don't really know. But